please. Yes. Assalamualaikum.
Great and eminent scholar. The great and eminent scholar from Iraq, Hadhrat Shah ibn Mansour. He pronounced the declaration of Anal Haq. Was he justified in his pronouncement?
Well, it depends in what sense he said that. He was a great Sufi, and he was a very pious man. All his life he had lived a life of piety, and he never claimed to be God in true sense in reality. So, Anal Haq may metaphorically means a different thing. So, because it can be interpreted in a manner that is not against a claim against the unity of God, not a claim to be God himself, but it may mean that I have totally disappeared in my God. And this concept is a mystic concept which should not be condemned at all. Some people are entirely devoted to God, dedicated to God, and they lose their identity in fact. And there are special types of people who become such mystics. So in my opinion, for the ulama of the time to condemn him to death and to crucify him was a wrong act, even if somebody claimed to be a god himself. No other person had a right to kill him. Nowhere in the Holy Quran do you come across such an injunction. So as far as the punishment meted after him is concerned, that is totally un-Islamic. It has no foundation in the Holy Quran or the tradition of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But as far as the reality is concerned, I'm inclined to believe that he was a pious man, and he claimed that only in a metaphorical sense, not metaphorical in a sense of extreme love. There are other pious people also who have said certain things which in ordinary terms would be considered blasphemy. But knowing their history, their life, their devotion to the Holy Prophet of Islam and things, it is impossible to give an edict against them in any way, yet the claim made by them appears to be very obnoxious. There is one verse of such a mystic poet which says, Panje dar panje khuda dar, manche parwaye Mustafa dar. My hand is in the hand of God, firmly rooted. What care I have for Mustafa? Now, he was a great lover of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was dedicated to him. He followed the Sunnah of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He got all his faith from Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, if such a person claims, you can't imagine him to have gone suddenly, mad or turned against his master. You must attribute certain other meaning to it. So whether you are able to do that or not, but that person must have said it in some other sense.
He was cut off in different pieces, and each limb of his body was jumping in the air and...
no, that is wrong. That is all myth.
Have I ever heard
No, that is all myth. No, it's wrong. These are stories woven again around such heroes, and this is human nature. You shouldn't go by that. Don't take it too seriously. Yes, please. So you are leaving tomorrow at last, huh?
Assalamu alaikum. Probably I should introduce somehow myself.
Of course you should. Everybody is expecting you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Ali Saidi Mosa. Yes. I'm a Tanzanian.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for about 2.5 years. I was studying in the University of Wales. Now my question is this one.
No, you have not completely introduced yourself. The rest, the second half I will do. Ever since he came there, he was very closely connected with the mosque and the Ahmadiyyat and indulged in the preaching activities and established a very good example. Then when the time of his thesis approached near, then he wrote to me and asked my permission to remain quiet for a while and devote my time entirely to the studies, which I permitted. In the meantime, he had already gained some inroads into various people's minds and hearts, and both African and the local Britishers were influenced by him, and he distributed cassettes to them and books, and so he was the center of Ahmadiyya preaching in that region. Is that right or not?
It's right.
So why do you? That was the true introduction I wanted you to make, but naturally you were too humble to say that yourself.
That's right. My question is this one, that we Ahmadis are the champions of Islam, and we all know that Arabic is the official language in Islam. Now I was wondering whether it's not the time.
What do you mean by official language? What do you mean by official language?
Well, by that I mean the whole Quran.
Arabic is the language of the Quran.
The Quran
and our Prophet.
That's right. Yes. So I was imagining that could be a time has come.
Yes.
When I was wondering whether the time did not come whereby the Jamaat could be encouraging us to use Arabic in various business.
I think the time may come, ultimately it will come perhaps, but I don't see the possibility in near future, because this is the age where English is spreading much faster and wider than the Arabic. And also Urdu has been exported to all countries of the world, and this is also demanding its share. So with this practical competition, I doubt if Arabic would get its due very soon. Once Islam has conquered the entire world, then I am quite certain, inshallah, it would one day become the world language. But left as it is, left to the normal factors which are responsible for giving popularity to a language, left to them naturally, I don't see in near future any possibility of what you're dreaming of. But I like this idea, because Masih Maud has made a very great stress on this, and he told us that Arabic was not only the first language of the world, it was a language revealed by God. Man did not learn by himself how to read and write and to speak, in fact. And it was Allamahul Bayan, the Holy Quran tells us that to speak was taught to man by God. And because he chose Arabic for the final and the consummate revelation of his word, so from that as well as from the quality of the language, Hadhrat Masih Maud inferred that this was the language which was first revealed to man. And then he proved from internal evidence that those languages which are oldest, they have a certain quality, and the philologists have laid down the rules by which you can decide which language is the oldest. So Hadhrat Masih Maud established that these rules evidently apply to Arabic, and in fact it is beyond every other language in this regard, because for instance Sanskrit, which is supposed to be the oldest language, was once supposed to be. Max Muller and such scholars, Western scholars, propounded this idea in the beginning, and later on they also revised this